Well, with that, let's move on to our next session. And for that, may I please now invite on stage Mr. Saurabh Kedia, the owner of Shree Automotive. He'll present a presentation on learning from peers' success. A very warm welcome to you, sir. A big round of applause for the gentleman, please.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So, a lot of presentations since the morning, and I know that it will probably be tough for me to get any new insight and new idea after whatever has been spoken since the morning. So, I'll be focusing more about, I'll talk about very briefly so, I have been given time of about 20 minutes, and I'll talk about our experience in how we have used the digital space in managing a dealership enterprise. Little bit about us. We handle brands like Ashok Leyland, Mahindra, Honda, Case Constructions in state of West Bengal. We also do insurance, finance, and all the related activities which any traditional dealership would be doing in today's time. We operate about 32 different locations, small and big put together. We do about 80,000 vehicles in a year. We sell about 8,000 vehicles. And so I'm going to talk about myself. I have been in the business for the last 11 years. My family has been in the auto business for the last 31 odd years now. We have graduated from being a single store retail outlet to slowly expanding as per manufacturer's requirements and also customer expectations and market development. And it would be largely with how most dealership groups in the country have actually graduated from where they were earlier and where they are today. I would be talking more about the trends that are going on, about our own experience in the auto business and how we have been using the digital space to improve our operations. Hopefully I'll not be boring. I'll be talking about, I've already told you that, right? So moving on, we've seen a lot of these trends since morning about how the inquiries have increased online and customers do a lot of research before coming to our dealerships. And we do talk about people going social and not only Facebook, but a lot of other social media in order to identify which product, brand, customer feedback from different locations and how we are going to use it in their purchase experience and decision making. To me, all that we have heard since the morning is all about different brands. We had Mahesh Murthy talking about all the different brands which have come in and tried to improve the customer experience or try to disrupt different models. And as a dealer, it scares me because when you hear so much about everybody talking about digital going to taking over the world and auto retail will change and transform, self-driving cars, you hear about dealerships going bust and probably will not be useful anymore going forward. So when we hear about all of that, of course it scares me, and we thought at our dealership that let's take a step back, relax, and try to see how is it that we can find opportunity in what is happening and how we can improve ourselves so that we remain relevant. And based on that, we have divided our view about the digital usage into our business operations into these different four categories. So you've got backend, you've got customer acquisition, retention, and of course creative inputs, like what are the new things which are going to happen going forward. Simple. So we'll keep simplicity in our mind when we're looking at all of this. Let me talk about the backend. So at our dealership, my biggest challenge was how do I manage so many different locations, improve efficiencies, have control so that we plug leakages, and also deliver. Not deliver. First is how do we take output from whatever data we have in our business, and then deliver the customer experience, which will make our customers loyal to our brand locally. For which we invested a lot of money into an accounting software, which was there with us for a long time, but we were trying to find out low-cost method because if I have to install SAP, that's a very costly exercise at a dealer level. So we decided that we have our own software with which we do multi-locational data entry on accounts on real-time basis. And that in itself has had a profound effect on the way we control and manage our accounting systems. We look at the data management is anyway done by all the different respective manufacturer DMSs which they provide to us. But about a call center, so we do a lot of insurance business, finance business, upselling, so all of that, cross-selling, so all of that what we do a lot of data mining, we do a lot of data analytics at our own place, and our own call center calls up these customers and trying to improve retention and conversion. For that, we use online a lot for the daily reporting and the feedback mechanism, where each department reports to us online on a system which is very easy to use and we can monitor those things. HR and payroll is one of the biggest costs for any dealership operation today. Almost 30 to 40% of our, somebody was talking about costs of dealerships. So about 30 to 40% of our operating costs are actually HR. And it's like a raw material compared to we have a lot of auto component manufacturers here. So for them, what you talk about raw material, our raw material is the HR and the payroll systems that we have designed for ourselves. And that is something for which we use a lot of digital to enhance and improve the utilization levels of our own HR, which is available, human resources which are there in the organization. We also do a lot of surveillance on our people. So it's not about being the draconian big eye, but the idea is to understand where our people are going, how we can derive more value out of the people and resources that we are deploying in different locations, both physical assets as well as the software assets. So for that, we use CCTVs which are usable on the mobile phones, and we can see each branch at any location, what is happening at any given point in time. We do, Vodafone offers this location tracker, so you can also see which person is in which location at what point of the day. That helps us in, see what happens is we don't really see everybody, where is everyone. But the idea is that when people know that something like this is at the back, people tend to perform better. They tend to put in more effort, and that ultimately results in their better performance. Online payments and banking channels is definitely something that we did a lot about, and we were one of the first few to have a website and an online payment mechanism since 2009, and at that time nobody was using it. But in the last 18 months to 24 months, we have seen a lot of customers have actually started paying us online. And it's not that we have told them anything, it's just they have started doing it, both for service payments, online bookings, payments for vehicles and for accessories. In fact, customers have requested us that why your price lists are not updated online, and that is something for which we spend a lot of time on now to ensure that we are updated. So what I want to tell you here is that this is all pretty boring stuff, right? But this is something which really is applicable on the dealership side, on which probably nobody is working in a coordinated manner. And this has really helped any dealership enterprise to grow from maybe 2 or 3 stores to maybe 8, 10 stores plus. You would find that dealerships would have faced these challenges, and we have really gained from the digital part of the ecosystem. The digital cycle, as we've spoken about, is that you attract your customers, you convert them, and ultimately you delight them to make sure that they become your promoters and bring more customers to you. For us, in the customer acquisition part, almost 31% of leads that come to us, we do a lot of study on those leads, and then we contact those customers. Now, when we are doing that using our DMSs and our own predictive algorithms, that improves efficiency a lot. And you find better conversions, almost 2x, and we find that the improvement in the sales experience for the end customer is extremely high. So while we are not, so even if I get an inquiry from an online source, our executive would do a lot more deep dive, and he would understand the customer requirement and tend to modulate his responses. Somebody was talking in the afternoon about need analysis and why salespeople are not doing enough of it. So that is something that our dealership we're focusing on, and that really pays dividends. We are also doing a lot of follow-ups now on Skype and WhatsApp video calling, and WhatsApp messages to, we find that customers don't want people calling them on phone. People don't like voice. People increasingly like more of softer interaction with them, maybe through emails, WhatsApp, SMS. They prefer that because they're in a meeting, they don't want to respond, and they don't want to talk. So this is something that we are focusing on right now to improve that even more than what we have already been doing. Closure is another thing for which we take a lot of time, and we spoke about a moment. And that moment is when the customer suddenly decides that, yes, I'm buying from you. And that we have found while we do a lot of back-end work otherwise, that closure actually happens face-to-face more than over phone. And that moment actually happens when you're seeing the other person and he likes the attitude, the way you talk and everything. And that has helped us. Our online strategy was, of course, social. You go online, have payment mechanism there, then you interact with the customer, maybe with some arm's length also. And of course, you convert him to the products that he desires or the products that we want to sell, and ultimately have a better relationship for further referrals, etc. In terms of retention, we have used the call recording, which is digital now. So we don't have those traditional call recorders. We use mobile phones across our call centers. And they have this data recorder there. And they put it onto our computers where the servers, we have somebody who's analyzing those call recordings at our end. And this has improved our call ratios and has also ensured better quality for the customer about how our people are calling and talking to them. We have also addressed, so the second point about assessment of vehicle history for service calls. This is something which, so we have these DMS, we have got vehicle service records of all customers. Now this is something that not a lot of, so the startups would not have, and that is something that we have. So what we do is we take a look at the vehicle history of a customer, we call him up, and then we talk to him about, we tell him, instead of asking him when you have come, when is the last service, what, I'm sure you would have also experienced similarly. If a dealer would have called up and said, last time aap kab aaye the, this is your next date, kya aap aayenge ki nahi? So we are talking differently. We are saying that, sir, you had these 3 service experiences in the past so many months, and this is your current stage of your vehicle. This is the expected service that you need to do on your vehicle, and this is how we can add value to that process, and we can give you XXX things. And that has helped us a lot, both in terms of improvement in customer satisfaction and also in improving the amount of sale that we do per customer, per vehicle. This is about predictivity. So we do, Mahindra has introduced this predictive models with an app where they have these algos which are set, and based on that, the algorithm actually tells us which are the inquiries that we need to focus more on automatically. So in the first 2-3 months, the experience was not so great, but as the data keeps going in more and more, we believe that we have started getting better responses from that. And going forward, this is something that we need to watch out on and how it can be improved. So this is part of the automation and the AI that people are talking about. For our branding, we do a lot of branding on digital. We also use digital to complement our offline branding strategy. And that has helped in improvement in brand recall and also customer walk-ins and loyalty to our dealership enterprise. This photograph was visible in the last presentation also. So we do believe that future trends are about all these, and like John here has introduced virtual reality in some of his showrooms as a pilot, and we will see how it actually helps enhance the experience and whether it really adds to the conversions and the customer interaction between us. Automation is something that we need to spend a lot on because we have been discussing about ways on which we can reduce the operational costs for a dealership. And 35 to 40% is manpower. So if we can do automation and reduce the cost, and if any startup here would be in a position to develop something there, I think dealerships would find value in it, and maybe we will look for it. Online sales, honestly, I don't think that they are anywhere to go, and that's something that we can wish away. Neither do I think that that is something that we should feel absolutely scared about. We need to, like somebody said, that we need to build our own stores and be present online and provide a customer experience which is equal or better than what the other guys are providing. And anyway, anybody else who's providing is multi-brand, right? So he's not focused on that experience only. Whereas we as a when we're dealing with that particular OEM or that particular brand, we do have an edge where we can provide better quality knowledge, know-how, and experience. The only thing is that at a dealer level, we are thinking on how is it that we can tailor it where that page can come out that microsecond faster, because we have got that much lesser traffic, and how we can do it to engage our customers better and not let them go anywhere else. So that's the whole thought. These are some of the brands and the value chain that everybody was talking about on online. So they're here to stay, and small things that are enabled by tech make a big difference for us. So we have focused on those smaller elements of the entire cycle to ensure that it delivers better for us for the time that dealerships are relevant and are remaining in the business. So that's about all that I had with me. Anything, questions and are welcome. Yes?
Something interesting that I saw in your presentation, where you said there was a big value add when you said you know the customer's web presence before calling. Can you just elaborate a little more on that? What exactly?
Pardon, could you please repeat your question once?
You said there was a real value add that your dealership is providing, or getting actually, from the fact that you know the customer's web presence before his calling into the store.
So I'll explain. For example, we do trucks for Ashok Leyland. Now, when we come to know of a particular customer who is looking for a truck, and it's typically fleet owners, etc. So we would try to search about him online, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and see what are the different bios available for them, where their companies are listed, and what kind of work do they do. 60 to 70% of the time, for fleet owners, you would find something or the other available online. And when you have studied that, we would also look at whether there are common friends between us, if we could find common interests between us. And then when we are going and engaging with the customer, it actually helps a lot in conversions, because you are immediately able to strike a common point, and that helps in breeding knowledge about each other and comfort with each other, and that's where you are able to convert him better.
That was not, okay, my takeout actually was different. I was wondering whether you had actually figured out a way of figuring out what the customer had been looking for on the web.
No. So that is something which our OEMs are doing, and they are guiding us with that, but not at dealership level, because that's a very high-end programming thing that we require, and that requires a lot of investment. So not at our end as yet.
Should I go first? Hi.
Hi.
It's quite interesting to hear a dealer perspective. So I just want to understand, because you said that OEMs are also guiding you, and there's a lot of work that your organization is doing on your own. So I just want to understand whether, from a dealer's perspective, how much is too much from the OEM? Because a lot of times OEM, we have all these big, grand ideas about what we want to do. But frankly, I think dealers or distributors, you know your markets better. But a lot of times you're being pressured to take on initiative from OEM. So I'm just wondering, from your perspective, when is too much, when it's not enough?
So, see, I'll tell you, every brand has its own manner in which they deal with every subject. So there are some manufacturers who are trying to do a lot together in order to remain competitive and to do better than others. Some of them do that part on the back end. So maybe the manufacturing process, the product, the technology, etc. And some OEMs are doing it on the front end, because that's where their competence lies, and that's easier to do. So they would try to put it on the dealers on the different new initiatives which need to come out to engage the customer better, etc. I agree with you. There are times when you feel that maybe it's a little more, and you do not want to do it. But I think there is value in it. Ultimately, if we keep doing something new, you keep challenging yourself, and you keep yourself fresh. And when you do that, even if you fail 4 times out of 10, the other 6 times when you have actually done well, you end up getting better customers, you end up getting better experience, and you also end up remaining more competitive in the long run. Because you're always experimenting. And what will work when, frankly, nobody knows. So I think it's a costly exercise, and definitely it pinches at times, but there is definitely value in it.
So you are supportive of all initiatives?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I think
Hello.
gentleman at the back. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. And the future trends which you referred to in your presentation, so some of them would actually lead to a lighter asset model going ahead if the virtual dealerships, virtual reality gear sets, they work out.
Right.
So how are you looking at that? And a connected thing is, like say 10 years ago, the number of visits of a customer to a dealership were probably higher compared to what it was today. How do you see this trend panning out, maybe say 10 years down the line? Thank you.
So 10 years down the line is too long a time in today's day and age, and with all the digital things that we're talking about. People are today talking about models going bust in next 3 years, and we needing to probably reevaluate our existence in next 3 to 5 years. So 10 years is something that dealers don't try to think about because it's scary, all right? But what we think about is that when you're talking about number of walk-ins going down, that's true. At the same time, you will find that earlier, the head of the house would typically walk into a showroom, take a look at the vehicles, products, and come back, talk to the family, go back again and finalize. Today, they would do that assessment part of it earlier, and then maybe they will take their entire family and take a look at the vehicle and do everything and ultimately take delivery at their home. So, while the number of walk-ins have reduced, it's not necessary that the engagement has gone down. Customers still do feel a need to do the physical touch and feel and that experience, and children and wives have started playing a much bigger role in the decision-making process, which was earlier not there. So in the last 5 years, you've seen, even for M&M, for example, we deal in M&M products, you will find a lot of our customers are today women. And if they are not women, a lot of customers don't allow our customers to buy vehicles from us because those women would want more sophisticated products and they would not want those sturdy things or rugged things. So they've started making more and more of an inroad in the decision-making process. To answer your question, definitely an asset-light model is the way to go, especially for far-flung areas or for very densely populated urban centers. So how that asset-light model will actually pan out in is something that people are still trying and testing and doing different things. So Nexas would have done that recently. Even M&M did that with their digital experience centers. You have Honda, which is coming out with another digital experience center like that. We saw an example of Hyundai having done it in London. So you have different manufacturers trying to work out different strategies, and it is only time which will tell us which model actually works the best, and then we have to follow that. I think.
Mike, the last question. You mentioned about Vodafone location tracker, so basically to track your employees. And was there any impact on your retention? Because manpower retention?
No, it's not an issue. See, I'll tell you, if we don't question people that, why you were here at this point in time, then people will not get affected. Usually salespeople are more of a free spirits, they want freedom and they want to work with their comfort. So we don't impinge on their comfort. We just tell them, see, we are watching you and we want you to be more productive. And even if we get data, we talk about that data and we present it in a manner to the team that, see, these are the areas of concentration where, we have spent so much time on, but if we would have done it like this, we would have gotten a better result. So we put it in a very different manner to our team. We don't talk to them that, you're doing this wrong, why you're not going here, why you're wasting my money. We don't talk like that. So when we're doing it in that manner, it is having a good impact.